Good morning. Well, I'm out here in the front yard. I've been working out in the gardens this morning, and I thought, let me come and get you and bring you along with me. I'm out here having a cup of tea. I took a break because Donald was leaving. I had to tell him bye, spend a few minutes with him, and I needed to sit down and have a tea break. So I'm having tea. This is my little cup I've got. It says very sweet. You probably saw it before. It's a little Ray Dunn cup. I think I got it at TJ Maxx. Got a little strawberry in there. My little granddaughter, I've got one of my little granddaughters that loves strawberries. So these little wild strawberries out here, I think they're strawberries. They might be raspberries. I tell you, looking at them, I don't know. No, they look more, I don't know. Whatever. But they're berries. I'm just sitting out here resting, thinking about all the things I got to get done. I took the kids yesterday and we went and spent the day with my mama. Hey, Mama, if you're watching this. And we are out here this morning, me, giving everything water before it gets real hot, cutting everything back, seeing what's blooming. This vine seems to be doing really good right here. Just looking at everything. Little Madeline, my little oldest granddaughter, she was trying to get her one of these flowers yesterday. She was bending and bending. They're real tough. They're hard to get off, so I got to get the scissors and get her one this morning. I did get this hanging basket did today. Now you saw me do this one. I had this on a previous video. But this one right here I did this morning. Get it on out here. Got some of the ditch lilies, or some of these lilies right here, growing. The ones in the front over here already bloomed. I'm gonna have to cut them down. You know, they only last one day. The blooms just last one day. And these here are double. They're the double ones. The ones over there in the other garden are single, which I'm talking about the petals. These have 2 to 3 more petals on each flower, right here on each petal, than the ones that I've got out in the front garden. But we've got a little bit of beautiful color right there right now. It's starting to get hot, starting to be heat. Those purple coneflowers can stand the heat. They're tough. They'll be blooming. I've pulled and took some things up, and some things that are here for a while are still here. Everything's looking all right. I've got to water this little tree. Got to water that coleus and that sweet potato vine that I put in that little flower pot there. I put flower pots in the gardens. The lavender's doing okay. I may have to cut that back. Go ahead and harvest that. Let's see, the tomatoes that I've got growing, they're coming on up just fine. Those will be for a second planting. And the tomatoes I've got out in the garden, I've already got them out there in the garden. I hadn't even showed the little vegetable garden yet. I worked on this basket this morning. It's got a pretty plant in it and another sweet potato. So that one's almost done. I've got to put it out there, hang it over here on these 2 hooks. Right here. I've got 2 baskets. I got to make the other one. This is one that goes here. And then I've got to go ahead and plant the others. I keep the wire forms and I spray paint them as needed if they rust. And I use them for as long as I can use them. These are all the plants that I've put in, or that I've took the little cards out of this morning that I got planted. I have those coleus. I showed you those over there in the pot. These Kong salmon pink coleus, so pretty. They grow in shade to part shade. This one's salmon pink. Is this the same? No, this is a different one. This one's a Kong. It's probably bigger. There's the sweet potato pine, the Marguerite. Planted it in the hanging basket. Planted this one in the planter. So all these are the things that I've been planting this morning in the hanging baskets and such. And you know, they're real easy to do. I got these liners. I got these liners at Home Depot. Was glad to find them this morning. Let me see if I can find my scissors. Found them. Got these soaking in water. They were root bound, and so I had to soak them in water. Yeah, I got these Virgo 16-inch coconut liners, or cocoa liners, basket liner. I got the bigger ones this year, and you know, one year, I think, was it last year? I had a hard time finding these. I really did. They come from Home Depot. Got instructions back here if you need them, how to plant, how to use these things. It says it allows airflow for healthier plants, but I'll tell you what, in our climate, as hot as it's been getting lately, the airflow will dry them out. It'll dry your plants slap out. Now this is a little bit bigger than my basket, and that's okay, because when you water these, the soil has a tendency, if you put it down, if you put the soil to the top of the liner, the soil will come out. I am going ahead and plant it. You saw me plant it before. I used these things. Somebody gave me these. They didn't use them. They wasn't the right kind for what they needed, so they gave them to me. I will open this up and put it inside this liner to reduce the airflow on the bottom so that my hanging basket does not dry out so severely. I water them twice a day anyway. If I don't, they would dry out. And you know, you don't want that to happen. Even if you use the crystals that hold the water, they can still dry out on you in the 105 degree weather days that we have, sometimes triple digits. So it gets hot, and when it gets hot, things tend to use more water. But anyway, this is a little bit bigger basket, and liner, and that's okay. You can definitely take the scissors and trim it down if you need to. If you buy one that's too big for your wire basket, but I don't do that. I just go ahead and leave it, and sometimes when it gets wet, you can tuck it in, and it works just fine. Let me find my water crystals. I think they're over here in the building. I probably put them back after I used them the last time. Let me see if they're in here. I got tickled at myself when I opened this door. It's dark in here. There's no light. But I found myself looking for the light switch. I was over here going, and there's no light switch in here. So I got these water storing crystals right here. Shared them with you before. Got those from Amazon. I don't see that there's a particular brand. Maybe that's a little brand at the top. Let me see. Osceola water storing crystals. There's 5 pounds of them. And then I bought this little water storing crystals from Home Depot, and that helps with the hanging baskets too. I want to give you a tour of this as soon as I get things straightened out. Maybe I'll find a battery operated touch light that will be easy for me to touch and see in there, and that'll be easier to do a tour in there too after I get everything in it that I'm going to get in it. Well, over here is my workstation. It's a little messy right now. There's a lot of work to be done. My coleus grew in their little pots, and so they're root bound. You can see by this one right here, I got them out soaking in water because I'm going to plant them. I wanted them to have plenty of water. This one's the Kong Mosaic. This is a huge coleus. It came out of the little starter pot like this. I think that's maybe a 4-inch pot, maybe not, I don't know. But anyway, you can see how root bound the roots are. It's more than ready to be put into the ground or put into a bigger pot. So I got those 4 little things soaking right there. I'm going to put them in a pot today. I'm going to go ahead and use what I've got over here and put in these hanging baskets, this hanging basket that I'm doing next. I've got a few little plants right there. They don't look so great right now, but they'll look better when I get them in a bigger pot with more soil. They'll beef up and they'll look good. Let me open this thing up. I opened this up and I'm just going to use a half down here in the bottom of it because I will have the water storing crystals that will help. And you know, once you open these briefs and things, you can't donate them to the thrift store because they've already been opened. They have to be an unopened product when you donate them to a thrift store. So these would have had to been thrown away if I didn't figure out another use for them, and I did. So I had another use. I'm going to put them in the bottom of this plant. I'm going to go ahead and fill it up with soil. I'm using moisture control potting mix. Got this, I think, at either Lowe's, Walmart, or Tractor Supply, maybe Walmart. But I'm going to go ahead and find my trowel, the big one that helps me dip out the right amount of soil. So I'm going to go ahead and put soil in the bottom. Now this is already moisture controlled. It's moisture controlled potting mix. Protects against over and under watering. This is probably for pots that you have inside your house, but it was on sale and it's a really good soil. So I just went ahead and got it. Me and Donna went ahead and got it for our outside hanging baskets and our outside pots. But for the same reason, we're putting that disposable brief down in the bottom of this. You can use a diaper, you can use anything. Say somebody's baby grew faster and they didn't use all the little diapers or whatever, and they want to give them to somebody, the pack's been open or whatever. This is an excellent idea to try to reuse those. I'm just going to put a little bit of these water saving crystals. You can see how they are. You know, if you put too many, they'll swell up and they'll make your soil overflow your basket. So you don't, just follow the directions on your bag and just use just the right amount. You don't want to use too many. Let me put a little more soil over this. The plants that I'm planting are kind of small. So they won't need to be planted too deep. Now these look kind of pitiful. I've waited a long time to plant these things. They feel dry. These are petunias. They're kind of like a candy cane. They're red and white striped. Well, it looks like this one right here is already blooming. And it is a pretty purple. Oh, they're tangled up. A little pretty purple and white bloom. Looks a little worse for wear. And the one that's kind of dried, I'm just going to put over here into a bucket to put into the compost. Now usually I follow a method for my hanging baskets. It's a filler, a thriller, and something that climbs, a climber. You know, a vine, something that'll hang down. But these need to be planted right now. If I don't go ahead and plant these, I'm going to lose them. I've noticed that these things right here are getting thinner and thinner, just like the bags at the grocery store. They're just getting thinner and thinner, so I don't know that those are going to be worth saving much longer. I usually save them, reuse them. These are impatiens. But I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do that, or if it's even going to be worth it anymore. These are Portulakas. I'm going to go ahead and put them in, even though they're not blooming. I think they will come back. we'll just put the dirt of the ones that are not making it in this. Just like a compost bowl you might have in the kitchen. Just have one sitting where you're planting so you can get it to the compost. I'll break these up, put them in a compost pile. They'll help with all of that. Now I've got some in here. This looks a little needy. Let me see if I can find something to fill it in more in the middle. And I don't have a spiller. It's a filler, a thriller, and a spiller. Now the filler would be these right here. And we'll have to find something that'll be a thriller to go in the middle. Maybe one of those coleus. It'll be in direct sun, so I may not plant the coleus. May see what else I got over here that can work. And then the spiller would be like the sweet potato vine, because you see, the more it grows, the more it will spill over. Like in this one. Now this vine is turned, it'll turn towards the sun. It's freshly planted. Let me see, what is this? What type of sweet potato vine? It sure is pretty. I'm going to add a little more soil. I see a hole. I have to be careful because I put this new plant in the garden, and I came out here this morning and the squirrel had been in it and either buried a nut in here or was digging something out of here. You see right here. I'm going to have to get the soil and just put some more in. Now we'll go over here and get a thriller. It'll be in direct sun over there. I'm afraid to put the coleus. I have put coleus in those baskets before, but actually I really don't want to do that because they need a little more shade than what they'll get out there. And I may not have a plant on hand that I can use as a thriller. I know what I'm going to use for a spiller. I'm going to pull up some of this variegated ivy. And I'm just going to put that right down in there as a spiller. But I have to make sure I've got plenty of root on it, and it does. Get my scissors and just cut off a piece. I'm going to tuck this Boston ivy because I have a lot of it on hand, and I'm going to let that be my spiller. It's got roots on it here. I just dug it, pulled it up from the yard over there. So I'm just going to stick it in. May take it a little bit of time to catch up and spill over, but I think it'll be all right. Just put it right in here. Got 2 pieces of it, and then let me find a thriller. If I can find one. I think I found one. I have this little Monarch Magic. It's a ageratum. I absolutely love ageratum. I was going to put this in the garden because I love the color of it. But that bluish, it looks purple on this little thing, but it comes across blue. Now I'm getting this basket planted later. This is June 26th, almost the end of June. Can you believe it? So this basket is being planted much later than I usually get them planted. But that's the way it just worked out this year. Gonna put that blue ageratum. This is the way it looks when it blooms. And that's gonna be my thriller. So I've got my filler, my spiller, and my thriller right here in the middle. So I'm going to work on that, go ahead and get the soil worked in around it and get this thing planted. Now, it looks a little thinner than it normally does. Usually the hanging baskets look more thicker, but this will all grow in. I'm going to put it where it goes, water it in really well, and we will see how this does. And it's, you know, we can always replace anything in here if it doesn't make it, or if it needs it, we can always replace it. I am going to get this hung up, get it watered in really good, and see how these look. Let me try to get this up without damaging the plant. I don't take this little chain off. It might be easier if I did, but I just bend it down, and then I have to make sure it's just like a piece of jewelry, that it's not kinked up when I need it to hang the basket with. And carry it over here where it goes. I've got to fill up the bird baths. They're dry. And let me get over here and hang this up. That thing is kind of heavy. Okay, we got that hung up. I'm going to get the other one. Now, I have been using these wire baskets for quite a while. I've been using them for quite a while. Years. You can see they're a little rusted. I usually paint them. That's why I have that spray paint sitting out here to spray paint some things that need it. I'm trying not to trample any plants while I hang these hanging baskets up. Have to switch hands. My right hand is stronger, my right arm. So to lift it up and hang it up, I have to put it on my right hand. Okay, now I am going to go ahead and water these in. There they go. There they're hanging up. They look a little frazzled because I haven't watered them in and they're freshly planted. But once they get that, I get that water on them and they perk up a little bit and they start tending towards the sun, then they'll do a lot better. Let me see what is on this one. What is that? It's a bug. Never saw anything like it. That's an iridescent some kind of bug. I am going to go ahead and water these in, and then after I water them, I'm going to use a little bit of Sevin Dust. Now, Sevin Dust I use on these on these annuals because, you know, I'm not worried about them coming back, and they're temporary for this summer, and it's perfectly okay. I've got this on just a trickle because I don't want to wash everything out. I just want to go ahead and fill it up. Now, I hope these do great. I'll be sure and show you the progress as they go along to see how well they turn out. And get them watered in really good. See how that lip on that coconut liner just holds in that soil? It's good. When the plant fills in, you'll never even know it has a little lip. See, the soil will run out of this one, you see right here. This liner fits this basket better. That one has a little height. I actually like it a little bit bigger because it holds the water in better. I don't know what kind of little shiny iridescent pest that was on this sweet potato vine, but we'll see how all of that goes. I'm going to go ahead and fill up the bird bath while I'm out here with the water. It's an overcast day, so I'm able to do this. You know, you would never water your plants on a hot, sunny day. It would just burn them up unless you went down to the root and made sure you didn't get very much on the leaves. Go ahead and water this. Love that pretty sage. That's a sage plant right there. Pretty. I use it for cooking. It's come back year after year for a long time. I need to put one in the perennial herb garden over on the side, but I don't have one there yet. Everything is really dry, even though we've had a few inches of rain. There's a drought in our area, so I'm going to have to be careful to get out here and give everything a good drink of water. Make sure it all has enough water. All right, let's just check these baskets out. Let's just see how they're doing. Go ahead and water this dill. It's already blooming. So I'll have dill seed. Planted that right there where I usually plant the zinnias. The zinnias did great last year. Don't know if I'm going to plant zinnias or not. Have some extra purple coneflower right here. That's a couple of years old. And so I'm going to transfer these for my brother-in-law's garden. Queen Anne's lace, it's going to seed. And the hanging baskets, they'll perk up here in a little bit. I'll keep a check on them. If I need to water them again, I will. Get them to grow. Looking good. The garden is looking good. Go ahead and water this vine. This vine is growing kind of fast. I'm going to have to figure out where I want to put it. You know, it's in a pot right now. And I'll probably keep it in a pot, but I'm going to have to, it's going to need more space to, it needs a lattice. It needs something to grow on. It's already trying to climb into this. It's already trying to climb into this camellia bush here. It's getting some long new growth on it. So I'm going to have to figure out where to put that. This is a tropical plant. It will come back in my zone if taken care of. But I'm struggling with some things. My bay tree died. And it didn't come back this year. So I'm not going to leave a lot of things out to chance. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I bring in the things that I don't know if will survive or not. This one I thought was so pretty at the farmer's market, and Donald bought it for me. So I am going to try to take care of it. Just out here, watering this front center garden. Taking care of it. Giving it a drink of water before the day gets hot. Trying to make sure everything has what it needs. I'm glad the hanging baskets are planted. Those two are done. I may put one on the back of this bird feeder my daughter gave me. I don't feed the birds right here, but the bird feeder's pretty in itself. I don't feed them because I don't want all that stuff coming out of the bird food that they scatter around in the center garden. So I'll either have to find somewhere to put that little bird feeder or use it. Just let it hang there for the architecture of it. It's pretty. It's a pretty bird feeder. There's a debate whether you should water at night or whether you should water in the morning. I always water in the morning lately, but I used to water at night. So since I've been battling black spot on the roses and some fungus, I have started watering in the morning. If that gives you a tip, maybe that'll help you. So just let you know when I water. We changed this bird bath's water out. It's a pleasant morning. I'm going to go sit down over there and finish my tea after I get a few of these things done. That's an aluminum bird bath. It used to have a fountain in it and the water would move continually, but the fountain stopped working and I salvaged that bird bath. Look at that little single echinacea growing beside of it. Isn't that pretty? They're beautiful in bunches, but they're beautiful when they just stand alone too, aren't they? Simple little flower. Now it's just been a slow morning of me working out here in the garden, getting those hanging baskets done. I needed to get that done. It wasn't a straight tutorial of how to get those baskets made. I'm just sharing with you as I go along, as I work this morning. I thought I'd bring you along with me just in case, you know, it motivated you or you wanted to see a slow morning gardening video. I just wanted to include you. So I'm glad you showed up today. I hope you have a wonderful day. So glad you came along for the journey today at Much Ado About Something. Remember to come back and subscribe, share, hype, comment if you've got something to say. All of the things that go along with it. Thank you for joining me. It means so much to me. And like always, until next time.